What's up, everybody? It's Eve. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube for space recordings and special live programs. 2024, we're doing things a little different if you haven't peeped game by now. So, yeah, this is your chance. You can do it now if you want. Hit the bell here on YouTube at JustEveB or find me on X at Justice, the number 4, Just Us. That's JUSTICE, the number 4, JUST_US. And if you feel so inclined, support my channel and the work we do over here. The Cash App and Patreon links are in the description. Black first. Hey, hi Marie.
Hello.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. That's such an oxymoron. It's Monday. Like, are we really happy? Like, I wish every Monday felt like a Friday. Like, I wish your Monday feels like a Friday.
I feel like as a business owner operator, there are no weekends or time off. So it's going to be a happy whatever day of the week because I have to make it that way. You know, like make your time.
I can actually relate to that. That's probably why I don't do that anymore. I'm like, I think one time it was like my client was like, and then on the weekends, I want you to do blah, blah, blah with me. And I just was just instantly hit with like all this anxiety of like, that's it. You know what? For me, it was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. And I hate difficult conversations, but I really was like, I am going to have to let you go. I'm going to have to let you go because, I don't, no.
I don't have the capacity. That's my new thing. I heard it off this channel. I think her name is Whitney on YouTube. She's like, or Instagram. I don't know. She's a Christian person, content person, but she was talking about how we have to mature and take on things that we can take on, you know, or leave that
or not
is right. So I don't have the capacity.
Being able to say no to things.
Yeah, for sure. Welcome back in the chat. I see Spirit Wonder, and to the Facebook and Twitter listeners, what's going on to you guys too? We are actually battling for attention right now, I guess, on Twitter because Elon Musk let Trump back on Twitter or on X. So now they're live. And there's lots of thousands of people in that room. And it's very fitting because I wanted to talk about Trump and I definitely want to talk about Kamami. But Trump and Kamala, they talk a lot, right? But are they saying anything? What are you seeing when you hear their message?
I mean, to me, they both seem to talk in circles to some degree. I see them both not really answering questions. I see them both getting defensive, no different than I think when somebody asked about Palestine and then Kamala's just, I'm speaking unless you want Trump to win. No, bitch, we want you to stop bombing little children. That's like, but does that, so me saying that means I want Trump to win because I've asked you to stop killing people? I mean, it's crazy. Like, that's almost like when you like Black Lives Matter and they're like, unless you like, so because I asked you to stop slaying Black people in the street, you're saying that I want Trump to win or, you know, whatever it is. Like, I'm tired of it's manipulation. You know, it's really legitimately manipulation. Even I think the thought process was, well, if you vote for Jill Stein, that's a vote for Trump. So here's the thing. If me voting for someone that aligns with my values, actually, it kind of ruins or throws off the two-party system we have in place, that already lets you know it's a scam. Like there's something wrong with that. And so really you should be concerned with why I can't actually vote my actual conscience without it, you know, it going to another person or, you know, there's so many things like that. Should we really have an electoral college? There's so many different variables there. But it's almost like anything you say. I've been arguing with Trump and Biden supporters because it's like, if I say anything that isn't supportive of Trump, then I want Kamala. I see why you love her. I will say that, how I don't really give a damn about immigration. And I get that, there's so many resources that could go to Black people that live in this country, but it is what it is. For me, I feel like we spend so much on defense and things like that, where I really feel like if we cut that budget, we could actually allocate the funds to the necessary appropriate parties, regardless to what's happening on with the immigration, not including the influx of immigrants coming here are typically because of some bullshit we did in their country. So for me, I'm like, well, I guess we don't owe them, but our government might do. That being said, because, I'm not anti-immigrant, it was like, well, then that's because you love Kamala. I'm like, no, if you look at my content, I really don't. But okay, and then you fucking love Trump and just say it. Like, I'm like, and this is like, first of all, these are all men attacking me. Like, there's nothing but men. They're not women, and unfortunately, they're Black men, and they're very passionate about their candidate, I guess, But no one's like, let's burn it all down, which is weird to me too. I'm like, you guys don't want to burn it down? Huh.
That's so funny because, like, me and you, we differ here, and we differ.
We do
a lot of it, not a lot, but we don't agree on everything, and I don't think that people have to agree on everything. What I do think is that if we can't have a conversation without name calling, then there's a problem. And then from there, most of these dissenters from the common knowledge thinking or ways of doing things, they get so emotional. And you made me think about this. And Dojo Manhunt, I see you in the chat real quick. I'm gonna get to you in 2 seconds. But look, this is what I'm talking about, or this is what we're talking about. All right, so have you seen this clip? I don't know if you've seen this clip or not, but all right, let's see.
So ever since I've showed my support to Donald Trump, the internet has called me a clown. I'm not educated. I'm not Black. They wish Donald Trump would rape my daughters. They want me to go jump off a bridge. I mean, the amount of hateful things that people are leaving under my comments, it's so disgusting. You guys are so for love and peace and unity, but actually you guys are the most hateful people. You guys are a bunch of snowflakes. You can't handle somebody just stating their opinion. You can support Kamala Harris on your page. That's fine. That's okay. I don't expect anybody or everybody to think like me. So it's wild to me.
So she's not the only one, but definitely reflective of what we've been talking about. They get so emotional, and she's an ex-Democrat, right? And right now you've got Republicans for Kamala, you've got white guys for Kamala, you've got Blacks for Trump, you got all sorts of different groups that you wouldn't normally or necessarily think to align with either candidate. That I'm as confused as you are. Why aren't there more burn it down types of people out here? And no, that doesn't mean you have to burn anything. It really could just mean that you let them handle it. Do your own thing. Because at the end of the day, if you are not going to, I guess, run yourself. That's what they kept telling me, Marie. If you have so many thoughts, why don't you just run for president? But I just became eligible like a couple years ago, and it wasn't an election season, and then now I gotta wait again. And why is it always that people who have thoughts, they get told, well, why don't you go run for president? I don't get that. And in the chat, I'm 1,000,000,000% with you about voting for whoever benefits us specifically, but I do know that there's nuances. I wouldn't tell someone who lives in a city or an area that's going to become a sanctuary city, or that got bamboozled like Chicago, not to vote, because really voting for the Democrats was not a move, because they, like me and Maria have already talked about, these Black faces in high places just shit on the Black people in that area. And it's not this big bad white person that's doing it. It's this
brown person. It's a Black person. That's
Right.
and that's the thing too, right? So what my issues I experienced living in Texas, since we are probably deporting a lot of those immigrants to those places, we don't have that experience. There's not immigrants in our Black communities or anything like that. That's just not happening to us. They typically, even the ones that come here, they are kind of more like in the city or urban area. So like where we own homes, things like that. So like DeSoto, Cedar Hill, I could probably like Lancaster, all these areas where there's predominantly Black home ownership. We're not seeing that. Also, we do utilize a lot of labor that's outsourced. Obviously, it is some immigrants. I don't necessarily, I'm not overrun. I'm not going to the corner and seeing Mexicans on the corner. I was at Home Depot. Someone made a comment to me about, and then you can't even get into Home. I was at Home Depot. I mostly seen white people, and I seen a Black person that worked there. It was like two, maybe. Like, I don't like, and I seen one go in to get some plants. I did not see a Mexican anywhere. Even the contractors were not Hispanic. And I say that to say that, it depends on like what your situation is. I mean, people don't realize too that Obama deported more immigrants than any president, any administration ever has. He deported them out of Irving, Texas, which isn't often talked about enough. Or Obama was the one that actually put those children in cages first, and Trump just followed suit with what was already going on in place. And I feel like that's important because I really don't have a side. Like, if you did the shit, you did the shit. If I, and again, I ain't like it. But this is what happened, whether I think, I actually worked for the DNC in 2011. I worked on the Obama campaign to get him reelected. So ideally I would want him to be this person, but I can't, like, he's a person, he's still human. And he did what he did. It was what it was, but it wasn't publicized. But you also have to look at who Obama was also in very heavy alignment. He's the one that actually started giving a lot of money to Israel, who also controls a lot of the media. So a lot of the things that he did that maybe wasn't looked at as a positive thing or seen in a positive light wasn't necessarily being put on the news that way. I want to say that recently Kamala came out saying that she didn't want to tax tips anymore, I guess, for service workers. Well, Trump said the same thing, but when it was put out, when Trump said it, it also highlighted how much money it was going to cost the economy by going, if we did that. It was they both said the same thing, but no one put the little side notes of, if he does do it, then it's going to cost us $28 billion or something, or it was a very large number, but it was enough to kind of deter you or red flag. Like, can you believe he would want to do that? But like I said, she said the same thing, and it was just what she said, no negative impact on the economy or anything like that. So even too, a lot of these media stations, they're owned by companies, they're owned by powerful people that have an interest in who becomes president for whatever reason it may be. And I will say that the catch with Trump is, like, a lot of people feel that it's really his personality. It's not even necessarily all of his, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not necessarily all of his policies. It's really about just kind of who he is as a person individually, the type of people, especially whites, that like him, that follow him, that are influenced by him. And it's kind of just like, almost like white people always hide their white trash. Like, they never bring out the trailer park people. It's kind of like, that's what he's able to kind of bring those people out very proudly. And no one wants that. And even the whites are kind of like, we can't have them out here in front of people showcasing themselves, their poor English, the fact that those are the people that might actually be the main people receiving some type of welfare, just like J.D. Vance talked about. He really brings out, the hillbillies and rednecks that you typically would want to be kept behind the scenes. And they don't like that, and then it makes the people are more proud with their ignorance. Like, it's fine that, hey, you might have some prejudice, but the fact that you just want to spew it and shit, like, we all have manners. Even in the South, we have manners, so we might feel how we feel, but we're really just not going to talk about it. We don't need to say it. I can think a lot of things and not say it. Because I was raised with manners, where them folks, They gonna say it, and they're not even gonna be articulate about it, and that's problematic for whites. It kind of just throws off their whole image in the spirit. They want to kind of protect how they're seen in the world. And that they all just come out of the Appalachian Mountains, sounding like country ass hillbillies. Is going to be problematic for their image.
For sure. The same way that they don't want to put the numbers out on the white crime, because really, there's a whole argument when we talk about police brutality, and you'll have some Joe Blow saying, well, blacks kill more blacks and cops kill more whites. But then they don't want to talk about the white on white crime aspect of it. They just want to redirect and put the focus somewhere else. And I wanted to put
because I even think you're right. And even going back to white collar crimes, those actually have a larger impact on a vast number of people than even some of these, non-white blue collar crimes per se, right? Mm-hmm. So a white collar crime could impact millions, where a blue collar crime may be 2 people, 3 at best, or whatever. And so it's almost as if you kind of make something seem as if it's a white collar crime. Actually, no, that motherfucker need to be put under the jail. He impacted thousands of people, their retirement money, their blah, 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 like literally their livelihood. And you're like, yeah, but he stole this candy bar from the store and he needs to go to jail for 10 years. Like, what?
Mm-hmm. Huh? Yeah. No, it's not equal at all. Nothing is equal. Y'all know I do Sunday school, or some of y'all know I do Sunday school with the kids, and it's not church, but it's like church. And this past Sunday, we talked about the Electoral College, because the math ain't mathin'. If we've got this dated system and it's dated and everybody agrees that it's dated, then why are we still using it? If I can't explain,
so many things are just dated. They're like, well, why do you use that particular pen? My grandma used it. Well, why did you use that pen, Grandma? My mama used it. Right. So don't nobody know why the fuck we still doing this, or we're still doing it because we've always done it. And that's the problem with America, period, is that there's so many things that we just keep doing because it's always been done.
Mm-hmm. And that goes to people saying, well, they're just of their time. I know you've seen the articles of the hospice nurses, and a lot of times they're like African or Haitian or something. Sometimes they're black, but a lot of times they're like a foreign black, and they're taking the nastiest abuse from these racist, old, senile white people who have dementia or whatever. And I'm like, damn, you've got dementia, but you remember you don't like niggas. That you can't remember your family, but you remember you don't.
No, and that's very true. When I was like 19, I was a CNA, and like, again, she couldn't remember where her fucking teeth were, but she remembered to say nigger from time to time. She made sure she got that in whenever she could,
Right. I call Cap, the math ain't mathing on a lot of this shit, but let's look.
That was an indoctrinate. Like, look, I know that. Like, short-term memory, no, I do not know where I put my dentures at. Long-term memory, I know I hate niggers for whatever, just for them existing. How dare they be here and be subservient to us, and or how dare they want rights and shit? It's fucking equality. They want to use the same fountain as me? What the fuck?
No. Now, I want to play this. I don't know if we're going to play the whole thing, because we'll probably pause it when she says something that needs to be addressed. But before I hit play, I know you guys have seen the pictures that have been floating, because they have been AI generating crowds at her rallies. And Marie, I do the thumbnails. It's like AI. And people have issues with AI. It's like the hands are distorted sometimes, or the faces.
Oh, yeah, I don't like that. Like, I don't like that.
Man, you got to get, creative to hide that stuff. And their camp hasn't even done that. They have so much money. They've raised so much money in such a little time, and they can't put out a good deep fake. But speaking of things that might be fake, this is what she just said, I think, recently about immigration.
Including, for example, on the issue of immigration. So I was the Attorney General of a border state. In that job, I walked underground tunnels between the United States and Mexico on that border with law enforcement officers. I went after transnational gangs, drug cartels, and human traffickers.
Sorry, I gotta have to pause it right there. Marie, I read that like 0% of her cases had anything to do with what she's talking about right now. Like she did prosecute drug bosses, but these are like low level, not the cartel. And then is she just going
A
to
part of me is concerned isn't
graduate?
necessarily, but I guess it's like, here's the thing though, too. I think we forget that one, she was a senator, then she also was the attorney general, which means she may not have prosecuted, but she had something to do with maybe the legislation or how things were handled, perhaps. But then it also just sounds good. I mean, and to me, I'm listening like, oh, so you're part of a state that actually was stolen from Mexicans, but I'm gonna, I'm over here. It's like a border state. Yeah, you know, yeah, yeah. There's that.
According to News Nation, the fact check says that it is exaggerated. So maybe like what you said, there are some truths there, like how I believe she
I mean, I
smoked
think it's
weed
all
in
makes sense.
college.
Like it, I think that it's all mixed in. Even to some of the rhetoric about how many people she's had incarcerated, some of that isn't necessarily true. Some of it, some of the numbers are as far as like how many black men are cases, some of that stuff is actually kind of exaggerated. There's even the data where I found that you weren't able to actually separate the demographics because that information just wasn't available. So the thing about it in general too is that we are going to get inflated numbers. Like this is, and no one's going to say, well, it's really two people. You're like, kind of like on a job interview, like one time you ever did a little coding or whatever, you're like, yes. And, I do a little CSS and HTML, meanwhile, it was that one time that you were on MySpace and you added your own little
You just
design.
added your little song.
But,
Yeah.
you're trying to make it, make it sound.
Resume. I can dig it. And that's like I've been seeing these reels and it's like, yeah, I didn't make the Olympic dive team. And then the person like belly flops or just can't dive at all. And Dojo, I feel you. She's saying that she was tough on crime. That's really what she's saying, right? I mean, just hear her out.
That came into our country illegally. I prosecuted them in case after case, and I won. Donald Trump, on the other hand, has been talking a big game about securing our border, but he does not walk the walk. Or as
didn't they start?
Go ahead.
I'm like, didn't they start building that wall? They were so that I just thought was a terrible idea. I'm like, first of all, Mexicans be making shit all the time. You think that they can't build no motherfucking tunnel under these are some very creative motherfuckers when they want to get out that country. Now, I don't know who else gonna be able to use the tunnel they about to make, but they're about as good as, those Hamas tunnels that Israel be talking about. Like, there's no way you're going to build a wall to keep them out. They coming through. You should have said, have you ever seen some of those tunnels that actually lead to like a home and like a wall?
And I want to say, I think I saw it on Breaking Bad first, right? Like just the Hollywood aspect of it. And then in real life in New York, the underground tunnels where the small hats were wearing them. And then they were saying that, oh, we just found out about this, but there were artifacts at this point, like AC, all the way free, right? AC units and lanes and people.
Listen. Play with somebody else, but okay, but I do think I genuinely think that Trump would love to build a wall. I think that he is anti any immigrant that's probably not fucking white. If they're not, because even too, he had, they were trying to prevent immigrants from other countries too that weren't the one to come in legally. They were trying to put caps on things like that. So to me, I firmly believe that he is anti-immigration. I also feel that, but I feel like she's not necessarily in the position to talk about that, considering, as you stated, like one of her jobs was like, saying to stop folks from coming over, and she didn't really do a good job. So I would kind of stay away from that. Also, she's doing something where she's alienating a voter group for herself. Because to a lot of liberals and progressives, they are pro-immigration. So it's so again, and I guess that goes back to the theme of double talk or saying something, but then like this, like, I don't know, but then maybe it's like she's done such a shitty job that we'll still vote for her because, bitch, you're not good at that at all. Like, we hear what you're saying, but we seen what you did or did not do.
And then that's when it comes into personality and popularity, right? People are doing the thing. I don't like him. Nothing to do with policy. I don't like her. Nothing to do with policy. And the only thing that I can say is that Trump has been in office before. Kamala is in office right now. And while the two seats are not the same, right? She's vice president, he was president. I think that their record in general should be put up against each other. And then, the people can decide who's going to be the better fit for the job. I think right now in this 2-minute clip, she's about to talk about Quavo, but I don't know if she actually says anything that makes sense about being tough on immigration.
About securing our border.
She's real big
But he does
for
not
the
walk
border.
the walk.
And then Trump doesn't do
Or
it.
as my friend Quavo would say, he does not walk it like he talks it.
And then, yeah, okay. Applause. I'm just saying, come on, Kamala, say something that makes sense.
I just don't.
So look,
I mean, I guess that makes sense, but
No, I'm saying she doesn't say
Yeah.
what she's gonna do, right? She just says, I'm gonna be
no,
tough.
she just be talking. Like, she has like little slogans and shit. But I will say that worked for Republicans too. So we've historically have seen slogans like repeatedly. And then see, one thing I will say, they have consistent messaging. Sometimes the Democrats, what they'll try to do is they all want to be unique to some degree. You know what I mean? And then I think what it is, they all don't agree because every state has a different, like, we have a different set of issues depending on where you're living. You know what I mean? That being said, though, they're not consistent in their wordplay. So I could see that's one thing that they could get better at as a party, is being consistent in like what they say. So whatever it is, we got to just all say the same shit. I don't care if I like you, I don't like you. Like, even Republicans, a lot of motherfuckers hate Trump. And but they knew that when he came on board, because they have a loyalty to their party. Even though I will say I was really impressed with that Arizona mayor guy that was not loyal to his party. I love anyone that's willing to. I think for me, the biggest thing is I don't believe in having loyalty to a party. I don't even believe having loyalty to a team. Like, oh, y'all motherfuckers keep losing. Oh, you keep switching out players. Oh, okay. So why would I like the same team and with a bad set of fucking players? That just really doesn't make sense to me. Am I addicted to losing or something?
That's a good point.
That being said,
to
someone
point right there, you see the memes and it's like, bitches can't pick the right man, but want to listen. They want us to listen to them about picking the president. And I'm like, y'all might have a point. People really probably should keep their opinions to themselves. But right now, everybody feels like, no, my opinion. And I'm like, I mean,
America's always had a bad taste in men, though. So I don't even know if that's a bitch thing or just a male thing or whatever, American thing. Like, let's just be honest there. We can't even say that. Clearly these motherfuckers can't even be the right man. So I don't know if that like speaks to that too. But if really think about it, Kamala only been married once. She finagled and finessed and fucked around, and then she found out and she married a white man. And she's not carrying a child out of wedlock. From some of those shitty standards that we like to use and hold women to, Black women especially, she's actually doing all right. She followed the fucking, like, whatever the recipe was. You know what I'm saying? What she said, that other dude had bought her a BMW. Again, I still ain't fucking with her, but I'm not going to take away nothing from her, though. Not in that sense.
No, you got to be the best hoe you can be is kind of what we've been saying. Not that y'all should be out here. Don't.
All I got was a Honda Pilot out of. all I got is a Honda Pilot out of my ex-husband. I don't know. It is a very reliable vehicle, and it did retain 60% of its value. He did pay for the whole Honda Pilot, but I'm like, that's all I got. Though. I'm like, I didn't get no German car. Like, I guess I just wasn't putting it down like that.
No, we just we're just gonna have to be unburdened.
Battle for the very soul of our nation. We have seen what can be.
No, right? Why? Why?
To see
Why?
what can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
No.
To see what can be
No.
unburdened by what has been.
And look,
No.
I'm just like, it's the message uniformity for me, right? Because they said slogan.
Girl, that's just her slogan. I mean, that is her little saying though, but to me, that's really, honestly, to me, that doesn't sound like any reparations for y'all. So, like, for you, like, ain't no reparations, because if we're unburdened by what has been, ain't no consequences for what has been done.
Boom, bingo.
Ain't no,
That's exactly what she's saying. She's saying that we're going to be unburdened because we're going to take on all these other burdens. Like you say, America's been starting fires all over the world, and it's our responsibility to help these folk. And I'm like, we shouldn't be starting fires, right? So let's stop with the fires. Our defense still needs money, but not to go play around in these other people's kitchens, right?
I mean, not the kind of money that the defense is getting. Money, like
right.
they got cartel money, like they money longed in a bitch. Like, there's no reason they should have that much money. You need all that shit. It's almost like some men with a bunch of fucking gadgets and things. Oh, I want that toy. Like, we're building all these model planes and cars and all these things. And no, none of this makes any fucking sense. Where, like, and you should see how they treat some of this shit. I've seen some things. This one plane, the plane was like $1 billion, and I watched the motherfucker bounce the shit off that plane. You knew it was the pilot, but like, I mean, he ain't responsible. That ain't his money. Like, no, they be doing too fucking much. America is too fucking extravagant. That's the problem. We are a nation of superficial, surface level consumers, which to some degree, maybe we get whatever fucking president our karma says we deserve.
See, I feel you. I just don't like that we have to take ownership.
You like, but I didn't deserve but I didn't deserve that though. I ain't had nothing to do with that. You're like, look, I mean, if anything, we can blame the boomers. I mean, if we're gonna start casting some blame on some shit.
Silent generation, like some Gen X, and there's some millennials out here.
Oh, absolutely, some Gen X,
sure. But all I'm gonna say is that I want to say it was during World War II, and I'm gonna fact check myself after I say it. So I'm gonna say what I think, and then I'm gonna fact check it. But there was something all the way free. If you're able to fact check this for me, Black people who were in service were handed flyers when they were in Germany saying, we don't have any issue with y'all, like, don't fight us. Our issue's not with y'all, type of thing. And then from there, outside of Black Americans have fought in every war for our country and for, the liberation of all and stuff. I just wonder if the rest of the world kind of agrees with that. It's not the niggas. Obviously it's not the niggas, because they don't have any power. And when they did, when Obama was president, well, he's not president anymore. So can't blame them. We're the cool people across the world, Marie. We're either cool or we're ghetto, but we're not these aggressors. And it's so strange, because then people come over here and say that we are being divisive, or that we're hateful, or not as welcoming as we used to be. And I think it's because of this influx of others all around us. And then it's about, well, and in election times, how do you say it with your chest? Like you said earlier before we went live, that people told you a vote for Jill Stein is a vote for Trump. And people would say that all the time. If you don't vote for the party I want you to vote for, well, that's a vote for the party that I don't want you to vote for. And I mean,
it's like, I really had someone going back and forth with me. And the thing about it was, I even misspoke on something. I brought up the Roe versus Wade thing. But the reason why I brought up Roe versus Wade is because that's part of before Biden initially stepped down and let Kamala, take his place. That was what he was running on as well. I'll reverse Roe versus Wade. And so I brought it up, but I meant to say, like, you motherfucker, you ain't reversing now. Like, so yes, it did happen under the Trump administration, but what you didn't reverse it right now. You didn't use an executive order. You didn't do shit. You can't even figure out your left foot from your right? So there's that. And even too, kind of like, well, So that's a thing. Or even, well, it's like, well, so the people making those decisions, they were appointed by Trump. Okay, that's fine. They were appointed by Trump. But at the end of the motherfucking day, like, you still have ability to use an executive order, even when they said that presidents now have immunity. That would have been time for you to get out there and really be doing some shit. Yeah, it ain't what's around. Like, so yeah, it's not totally above board. But at this point, you're dealing with someone that's not going to be above board, right?
Right.
You're to know they're not. So, like, I don't know what. Like, the thing is, the idea that you can win against a cheater just playing fair or bringing like a knife to a gunfight. Like, you finna get your ass tore off every time. And the only reason if Kamala really wins is because everyone's innate fear of what's going to happen if Trump and even the whole the 2025 rhetoric or whatever. Like, and while I think that someone may believe that this is like a plan for them, I really can't see all that shit just going through and people allowing it, to be honest with you. And even some of the shit Trump was kind of like, I don't know. And what I will say, though, is that I am finding a lot of media outlets have actually published that as Trump's, like, like how Kamala has, like, what her running platform is. They published that 2025 as Trump's platform, but that's actually not Trump's platform. However, I have read Kamala's, and to be honest with you, unless you're a poor American.
No. I'm sorry. Backtrack. You've read Kamala's what?
Her platform?
Where? Is it on her website now?
It's online. Yeah, it's been online. Like, I
No,
will say
don't
it's been online for a couple
online.
weeks.
No, because on her
before
her website.
our last two sessions in 2 weeks, I've seen it. So I've seen it 2 weeks ago before our lives. I actually, because it went down, like, she was offering like child tax credit increase. My kids are 19 and 17. She was offering like, yeah.
Nah, babe, look at this. This is Kamala's website right now. I want to say I check this like every other day because it talks to.
It wasn't on her website. It was somewhere else. It was an actual PDF. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Okay, because I'm like, on her damn website, there's
but
nothing.
I mean, and that's the thing. I would think it would be on her website.
It should be on her website. This is it. It's all these different ways to donate to the damn campaign. So what the fuck is the policies? What are your policies, Kamala? And then there's nothing on here. It's just like a meet and greet, meet us, meet the people, and give us some money. So if you've got, I would love to read the policies. And yeah, 2025 is not Trump's.
But I mean, they wasn't. So I guess the thing is, I didn't remember because there wasn't nothing that benefited me. I'm like, oh, I don't need that. I can't get that. Yeah, you won't be giving me that neither. Huh. I'm like, so basically, my only buy-in to vote for you at this point is because I don't like Trump. Because I'm not finna get shit. I'm not getting no tax break, no. I'm like a real middle class. I'm the ones that everyone leaves behind. Trump ain't really fucking with me. Kamala ain't fucking with me. You either got to be poor or rich. I ain't getting shit. So that didn't sit well with me. I'm going to be honest with you. Then you out here, like I said, you saying you care about the children being killed in Palestine, and literally you're just sending more money there like every other day. Like, so you just sent them what, $3.8 billion in like for weapons or in weapon. Like, yeah, bitch, something ain't your math. Like, if you care, that's not how you care. Or you're condemning protesters for protesting like murder, like genocide, land seizure, erasure. And then, even more recently, I've like dug even deeper to like discover like even like overall, to me, it just looks like Israel's plan is to actually to see if they can get all of that land from Syria, Lebanon, etc. Like that's like their like real objective or agenda, which kind of makes sense because they were given a little bit of this little something. And since then, they just continue to grab more and they beefing with everybody and then acting like everyone's like provoking them like, yes, Hezbollah, they shot missiles. You've been fucking with them for like a few months now. I mean, are we we just gonna leave that shit out? But it almost sounds like a part of it too is that Israel and the United States are in cahoots, and Israel's kind of doing the dirty work of America and the Western imperial countries. And it is a way to just like to seize all these assets and resources from the Middle East, but to kind of do it in a way where it's not so direct, which is bullshit to me.
No, it is. you know what else is bullshit is that telling people that they are not American, even though, like we just said, a lot of these systems that everybody's agreeing, dated, that's from the past. Yeah, no, we don't actually agree with that per se. The Electoral College, 1929 is when the number got put on pause. That's how many votes. That was going to be how many votes, unless the census says that the state has had a super big increase or decrease. And that hasn't happened yet. And then I wonder if this lax on the border thing, because like we've already said, the wall, that's just for fucking show. They already have tunnels, y'all. So unless they're talking about building a wall that goes down and cuts the tunnels off, or they start patrolling the underground of the border area, a wall is not really going to do shit. But this influx of people and then steering resources in their direction seems like you want a new voter base. Seems like you're trying to spin things in a way that would benefit you later. And then what's so funny is that a lot of these people who are coming here illegally, they don't fuck with the Democrats. Like, they will have a Biden-Harris shirt on, crossing the border, get over here, and then be like, no, close the borders. No, I don't like all this free shit that y'all are doing. Y'all are giving it all away. Keep it here. And I'm like, damn, if you just got here and you get it, what the fuck is going on? It's got to be purposeful.
I think, but now, so to me, the reason why that they switch up in general is because there is a thing within the culture of assimilation, right? And so no different than if you were legally coming here and you assimilate to the culture. And in essence, too, they want to be in the upper class, the white class. And so those are the views and values that are held by well-to-do whites. And like I said, you'll see it. That's where you'll see it with Nigerians. You'll see it with Chinese. You'll see you're going to see that. But I think that's more to do with assimilating and wanting to be seen as one of them or be seen as American, which, to be honest with you, so to me, it sounds like to be seen as American is anti-immigrant. Like, we're pro-American, we're anti-immigrant, even though at one time we're like, bring us your tired, bring us, then we're like, all right, never mind. Don't even worry, turn back around, turn back around. But to me, that's just assimilation. That's why, too, they also start to have develop an anti-Black rhetoric, because, again, that's the tone in America. And so they want to be like these other whites, just like even Black folks, well-to-do white folks look down on other Black folks that are part of a different subgroup, because they, too, want to be different or seen different in a different light than those other Blacks. And so there's so many variables with that, unfortunately. But it's a thing.
No, that's real. Look at this. Look at this. Look at me. No. Where did it go? Frick. Here we go. All right. This is. You need to tell me your thoughts on this shit, Marie, because I wanted to send it to you earlier. And since we've been talking about it right now, why not just do it live? And I'm not going to scare you like I did last time. Ha! Maybe I won't. All right.
I don't know. Last time you went too far. I'm like, that was not. I was going for a woman putting on too much makeup. Now someone completely their gender.
That was the article did it. I didn't even do
I feel
it.
like when you're invited on a show or something, and then they just do it's a change, and you're like, whoa, I was not here to discuss my health.
Oh, by the way, let's talk about that.
A baby switch. Not. I was just talking about makeup. Like, I have nothing against the trans community. Don't
that wasn't against the trans community. We want you to be safe. That's all that was last week. But
okay,
right,
let's see what kind of shit you're about to get me involved in.
Why are y'all voting for Kamala Harris?
I don't want to lose my rights. Like, I'm a trans man and I'm gay and I have been pregnant and I've had an abortion before, and I don't want to lose that. I'm afraid of not being able to be myself anymore, because from what I've heard, Trump's America doesn't want me to look like this. So that's why I'm here today, and that's why I'm voting blue.
What about you?
I've also been pregnant and had an abortion before. I was a minor, and it would have been dangerous for me to properly, like it would have been dangerous for me to carry a baby with like personal reasons and everything. I also like I'm very, alternative, and I feel like if Trump were to win, I wouldn't be able to like express myself through my looks and everything, and wouldn't be able to.
Emotionalism at best, but let's just go back to what the first one said, because that's really, give me your thoughts, Marie. God damn it.
Voting for Kamala Harris.
I don't want to lose my rights. Like, I'm a trans man.
All right, first thing, like we said, this is not against trans anything. I just want to be clear. Trans man means that that person started as a female, correct? It's like trans, the sex that you want to be. Okay.
That's why but that's, just if it was any clarification, that's why she was pregnant and then had a
right. Let's go back there.
And I have been pregnant and I've had an abortion before.
Okie dokie, Mr. Man. You've been pregnant and you've had an abortion. Now, I guess the only thing that I'm cool with so far is that person on the screen that's talking is not calling themselves a man, which has been my biggest issue with that side of the community. You can't just be out here calling yourself man and woman like there aren't men and women out here. No, you've done something to you to identify as the person you think you are, or how you feel on the inside or whatever, but you can't just be stealing shit. Or if you do, then people can't be mad when it's now people, period, and people who nurse and shit like that.
So for me, I think that's semantics. Like, hell, whether you call yourself or not one, if you think you're one, it's still the same. Like, what do I give a fuck what you call yourself? You could call yourself a tree. Now, I know goddamn well you're not a tree. You're not a mountain either, right? But it is what it is. If that's what you want to call yourself, baby, have at it. Have at it. I'm not going to try to climb the tree or that mountain. But that being said, so you want my personal view, or you want my politically correct view?
Let's get your the one that makes you feel good. Give me your feel good one, Marie.
That shit is none of my business. But honestly, that's also why maybe there's a part of me that's conservative. Because what the fuck is happening? Like, why is all these things going on? First of all, everybody out here fucking without condoms or having protected sex, because there's no way you'd be pregnant if you had proper sex education, which that's problematic in itself. Then that you had but understand too, I'll be honest, if my 19-year-old who's about to be a sophomore in college came home pregnant, we would be on a flight outside. Look, and again, so in Texas, it's not legal. She would be in Illinois or some state that would be, because I'm not finna be no grandma. I'm 40 years old. I'm not finna be. Also, like my kid can't even pick out a fucking watermelon by herself. Like literally, she will call. So which one? So I don't even know if I can judge if the watermelon's good via FaceTime. But that lets me know you're not finna have no kid. Like you're not in a position to be nobody mama.
This is true. People are having real. They are doing things,
and that's me. Right? And someone else could think that's terrible. Like that would you would do. I would do that, and it would just be me, God, her, whatever. He already knew me. He knew what I was gonna do, and I'm gonna deal with them because guess what? In the day, God ain't gonna ask nobody about what I did. He gonna only ask me. So that we'll just end that there. But that being said, that's a lot of fucking shit going on. I think that speaks to a lot of mental health concerns, rapid issues that are going on in this country. A lot of children not being parented. That was a heavy, to be honest with you. Like baby, let me get you some therapy. But I do think that Roe versus Wade needs to be reversed. And the reason why in general that was put in place is so that women weren't in alleys or weird places getting abortions and things, is more for safety concerns as opposed to just making it not necessarily accessible. Because even too, let's be honest too, in this country, especially with minority women, they have a higher mortality rate than anyone, because they're just, and even if they have insurance, even have money, they're not treated very well in hospitals and facilities. That's also why we need more Black doctors. And I don't necessarily, and I will say to say maybe they can relate, because now I feel like I'm conflicting, because I never feel like we need more Black politicians. I'm like, we just need more motherfuckers that's gonna do the right thing. But it's not always healthy or safe for people in general of color when it comes to going to doctors and getting proper treatment, whether they have insurance or have money at all. And this is historic. And even just as Americans, because I mean, the fact that they sat there and mandated those damn COVID vaccines and shit on everybody, they didn't care what color your ass was, really. And they were preventing you from traveling, preventing mobility, things like that. And then for them now to kind of be sitting back, kind of like, this is causing blood clots, this, and that. And, you know, I think it's leaving anything related to your health to your government is probably very fucking dangerous. It was just,
Yes.
you know, I wouldn't even trust the government
And-
with fucking sand, you know, to be honest with you. That shit would be gone. You're like, what happened to all the sand? Well, we gave to the government to regulate. So there's that.
Well, okay, about Roe versus Wade, I think that maybe I'm conservative here because I'm not going to sit here and say that if you being ectopic pregnancy, let's go there. Let's go to the benign. That's super.
Okay, so let's go to actual like health related things.
Actual
and
health
stop
related
it.
things. You know, I think that that's crazy that you can't if your life is on the line, you know, or if it's like, oh, I got to choose between the baby and the wife. I don't.
Or if you
that's-
have a miscarriage, it
Mhm.
actually can be there. We're seeing miscarriages being investigated by the police now to ensure that it was a legitimate miscarriage,
Oh,
and that's
shit.
where it becomes problematic.
Well, look,
And even too,
before
but
you
that
get there,
also
though.
speaks to a government overreach. That's the ironic part about all of this is that a lot of these things don't actually align with conservative values. Conservatives are typically very like hands on, like really want the government's hand out our shit, you know, don't tread on our freedoms. And in that sense, a lot of things that are occurring as a conservative value per se are treading on people's personal individual freedoms. And that's where like, are we in line with that? And we're like, what is happening? Because you should never be in my body or what I have going on with my, like, and even too, the militarization of police, that's also coming from both on the liberal and the right side. But even that again is another overreach. And that's even, you know, even white militias are anti-police or government. So it's like you're seeing people that historically have leaned more on the conservative side make decisions that really aren't necessarily. Are they really anti-government? Are they on the stance of, you know, the government just doing too much in your personal life? Like
I think that it's because the government is a dated system of those invaders and colonizers of the past, right? These people
or
that
like we're going to have a federalism conversation.
I don't know.
I mean, that's fair.
It's just the government, white people, they don't want white women killing their babies. But
that's the only reason why. I'm sure if they knew there was a way to just get the blacks, but then I don't even think that because they're seeing their workforce dwindle. And so you look at a lot of states that have enacted or, you know, have a lot of those really strict abortion bans or laws. There are states where the education and literacy level is very low. And in essence, I need you to have these fucking kids that you can't afford to take care of, and so you can be on the system. So one, also, there's a higher chance of them turning to some type of life of crime as well if they don't beat the odds, right? And then I also just have someone that's a low worker, like they'll always be at a mediocre kind of subpar because capitalism has to be held up by somebody, right? So be permanent. So and honestly, for me, those are the things I think about. Those are the things I keep in mind of even when I look at having, you know, more children than I can afford. And I'm not saying that if you're poor or you're at a lower socioeconomic background, you don't deserve to have a child. But I'm also saying too, to me personally, there's also a thing called a slow death, right? So like having to just work and bust your ass like forever. And you know, so here's the thing, that's why I also believe in the American dream, like, oh, just work real hard. You know how many fucking people have worked real hard? You have people in their 80s still working in a lot of places, and they still barely have anything because that's bullshit. It's not work real hard. It's like, how smart can you be? Who can you fucking exploit? What can you get away with? That's really how you're going to get to that level. And you know, to some degree, or it's going to take you a really long time and you're hoping that you can lean on generational wealth. But I'm like a firm believer in, like, I just don't believe in doing more than what I can handle. But I also think that some of this also just, I don't know, it kind of goes back to, you know, you mentioned earlier, someone said maybe you should be president. If I'm like literally telling you government doesn't fucking work, why would I become a part of the government? So
you can
someone
only
talked
fix
to me
it from
about
the
that
inside,
recently.
obviously.
No, I mean, at best, what I need to do is become friends with someone that's in Secret Service that has access to people that are in powerful positions and put them in place so that they can be attacked at some point. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, if that would be how you would maneuver from the inside. It wouldn't be working from the inside. No, it'd be the attacking from the inside. That's the only way. Infiltrating from the inside to bring it all down. But you're not changing anything. They would kill you first.
That's true. That's true.
So there's that. I think someone recently asked me about that. I will say someone asked me to invited me recently to participate in Stop Cop City, which that I think I may do. Even if it's, I guess, lobbying to demilitarize the police. But the idea of, I'm going to be president, like, so someone else like, well, all you do is you're only talking. Well, you do realize disseminating information is a role too. I'm glad that, people seem to realize it, or not realize that there are different roles in a revolution. We all can't just go out guns ablaze, baby. Like,
that's true.
Everyone does different things. And one of those things is not me becoming a politician to then take your money, which I don't know, that is some good money for me not to do shit. Like, I don't have to do anything. Like, really, I'm not going to get shit done.
That is
like,
actually
you can pay me
$250,000
a year to just not get shit done. I mean, like, really, that's probably what changed you. You start getting that money, you ain't did shit all day. You're like, why don't I start doing shit now?
If you get the black vote, you secure the black vote, you're the first black whatever in your area, and you're getting a check. And everybody knows that there's systems, and everybody knows that you're not going to be able to do certain things. Wink, wink.
But see, no, I don't think and that's the problem. Everyone doesn't know that either. That's the biggest problem too. Is that I think the problem is we have such expectations for these politicians, and their hands are really tied. There's things that you're just not allowed to do. You'll never be able to do, and don't ask about it unless you want to be JFK or something. We're seeing, like, even too recently, you're seeing AIPAC bragging about unseating politicians. And like, first of all, that actually seems like government interference. Like, that seems like a foreign entity interfering in a election, and like literally, and they're like honest about it. So like, yeah, so we ran them dollars and we got old girl unseated, and like, no one's going to jail.
No, because it's one, people.
But then, since they're not registered as a foreign entity, because they don't have to be, and the last time a politician suggested that, they didn't live long.
Well, that's exactly why you won't have a lot of people talking about things. Like you said, everybody has a role. If they have decided that they're going to participate in the revolution, that won't be televised, right? But in what capacity? Are you outside? Are you disseminating information? Because talking about stuff that used to get you killed. You go talk to people at the Lincoln Memorial, right? And then you get shot later because, oh shit, you can't be saying shit like that out loud. Or, you are talking about making America great again, and you get snipped on your ear or something. Or you take the president's seat that you didn't want, according to you, and you get experimented on, and you lose your faculties really, really, really fast. And you have to say that you are going to step down from the presidency with a letter. Did you see that before we go? Did you see that he stepped down with a letter, Marie? He wrote a letter. Joe Biden wrote a letter. He didn't.
I thought it was like a note on Twitter. I thought his first thing was like a note on Twitter.
Man, I just can't with these people, and they're expecting us to really take them seriously.
I think, and that's the problem too. No, because I should not be. My politician should not be like his place to notify me that I hopped on Twitter.
Right. Like, what do you mean?
Sure.
What do you mean? And Obama started that shit because he was supposed to be the cool president or whatever. So then he's like, oh yeah, I'm interacting with the people. I got a top 50 rap list and I got top 50 books. And then him and Michelle are doing this thing where it's seeming like they are of the people, but then they shit on the people. So,
but I mean, people ain't shit too. So I still wouldn't trust their ass. Like, you making Spotify playlists. Like, here's the thing. That's fine. Make a Spotify playlist. I love Spotify. You know what I'm saying? That's my music place. Go do the things, do the things that I would do. That doesn't mean I'm finna fucking vote for you. And I get that may humanize that. But here's I guess, no, the big thing is, as voters, as citizens, as your civic duty is to be informed and be educated and inform yourself and go look and ask questions and, question things. The fact that someone can spew out a fucking rap lyric or bring out a fucking whore or whatever it is to get you to go do a vote. And when I say whore, I meant Amber Rose. I did not.
Look, because I was like, why would
she has
you?
a degree. She has a whole fucking nursing degree because she still finished while she was still dropping those little bars. Which I can respect that she has something to fall back on in the event.
We're not talking about Megan the male horse.
No, I'm talking about Amber Rose, Miss Racial Ambiguity herself. Yeah. I don't know if I'm okay. So, but what I'm saying is that if someone is able to gain your vote because of what rapper they brought out, what rap lyric they said, what slogan, you're a fucking idiot. Just please understand, no, you're a fucking dummy. You're dumb. There's no, that should never be enough. Ever be enough.
No, but then you got old
ever. And then to some degree, you deserve what you deserve. You deserve whatever you get, whatever president. I mean, you deserve that. So if it doesn't work out in your favor, that is absolutely your fault for not making an informed decision. Yeah. If you only vote for someone because you don't want someone else to be elected, that's still another poor fucking decision. If you only vote for someone because they black, and yeah, I be wanting everyone black to win, but never in an election. That's the one time that don't count. I'm gonna need the person
during the Olympics. That's cool.
Yeah.
During election season, that's not cool. And
but only
for some people.
I need you to. I need them to somewhat align with my values. For us to have something even to. I think I've had people talk about just standing on the whole Palestine thing, or me feeling my issue. But it's not even a one issue, right? Because even to us continually being over there in Middle East is one. It's it is racism. It's fascism. It's we've literally waged war on Islam for the past 20 fucking years. We vilified them in every way possible. In fact, we radicalized them and then we got mad. We did a bunch of shit to be how dare you respond back? We blame them for shit they haven't done. There's been this whole agenda that, it's we're pretending that, but it's there. It's legit. You know what I mean? No different than, we're praying for Paris or Ukraine. Well, then, that invasion Ukraine, how is that different than y'all just invaded motherfucking Palestine or Syria and literally obliterated the entire fucking country? Or even I wish I was as engaged with Iraq. There were millions of people that died for weapons of mass destruction that just weren't there really because we just wanted to go pillage they shit. We knew you had some goods. Right. And we need an excuse to get the fuck over there. And I ain't like what you said to my daddy that one day. But it's we just see a constant thing of just really America kind of going out and doing things, and it's nefarious, to be honest with you. That's what it boils down to. And to some degree, those chickens do have to come home to roost, baby. So we have to start holding some level of accountability with our government at a certain point. And it starts now. And Absolutely. So I don't care if Biden and Harris are just doing what everyone else has done. That's fine. So when does it stop? When does it fucking stop? So it has to. You can't just be doing what everybody else did. It now I feel so if all your friends jump off the bridge, you gonna jump too. They but yeah. So no. So no.
Yeah, that's the point of this channel. We are the adults in the room now, and we don't have to look. You niggas and non-niggas, we don't have to do shit that they were doing in the past because they were doing it. Tradition, there are some things to be said about tradition. However, if the math ain't math, and y'all have big, beautiful brains that you use to do the things that you like to do. How about making it a point to, use that brain to do the things you don't like to do? Because nobody fucking wants to talk about politics and how we spend our dollars for taxes and shit, infrastructure. Nobody wants to talk about that, really. you just want to get the benefit of it. You want plumbing, you want the things that you have already, and you don't necessarily want to know about the ins and outs. So
I just wanted to show my new outfit, and I can't even do that because all this real serious shit is going on, and that takes precedent over, like, you know, the fact that I need to document I didn't look homeless. And like, it's like I can't even live the carefree life, soft life I want to live because all this weird shit is going on with our fucking government.
Right. That's real. But we're not gonna be all talk over here, even though we will talk a lot sometimes. But Marie, you got any closing thoughts for them before I head over to my other channel? Because today, I don't know if y'all know, is Mark Essex's birthday. He's known in the mainstream media as the New Orleans Sniper, a Micah Johnson original of sorts. We're going to talk about that with one of his descendants on my other channel. That's Just Eve. So after you see me here, maybe you'll see me there. But before I leave, Marie, all talk. No talk. No more talk.
So I would say that, you know, do your homework. I mean, do your homework, but at the end of the day, like, go do some, invest your time in things you actually care about and things that you know that you can have some type of impact in, but also, like, take your time to do your research. Do your own research. Don't listen to nobody. Don't just go off the meme. Don't listen to me. Like, go do your due diligence for yourself. Like, you owe it to yourself. You owe it to your children. And overall, I think it's just like it's a good starting point, right? Like, you start to figure out things, and you can kind of use your own discernment after a certain point. For me, I will say, just like being like reading, the more I read, the more I will say now I'm more like, America probably did do that. You ain't even got, I ain't gonna dig deeper. I may not question, like, that actually sounds like some shit they would do. Then I go in there. I think one time my cousin said something about Pearl Harbor, and he didn't say what, he just said something. And then I dug deeper. These niggas done lied to me, and they really weren't niggas, they were whites. But I'm like, they done lied to me. Like, they lied. They didn't teach. I lived in Pearl Harbor. This is not how they said this shit went down. Huh. They was like nefarious behavior. Like, this is my new word. Nefarious behavior was going on. They were making threats to Japan, but like, that's not how the story was told to me. It was like the sleeping giants. Like, nah, y'all motherfuckers wasn't asleep. But okay, you was faking sleep. No, but do your research. Do your research, and like, I don't care what rapper or who's cool or whatever. Like, none of that should ever matter. In fact, that should concern you when they, you know, they quote unquote, like, you trying too hard, motherfucker. You trying a little too hard. Okay, these, you know, I need some corny ass dad jokes. That's what I'm looking for from my politicians. Some corny ass dad jokes. They're not even that cool, but you know, they understand what needs to be done, the things at hand, you know.
There you go. Well, it's always fun to start our work week, even though, you know, I don't think we've had off ever since we've been around each other. But until next time, you guys, join us. We're here Mondays at 8:30 Eastern Standard, 7:30 Central. And we'll be back next week, probably talking more about the things that make sense and the things that don't make sense. Bye.
If you're not going to speak up,